All praises, thanks, and adoration is due to Allah Azza wa Jal, the first without any beginning and the last without any point of termination. It is indeed another beautiful Friday in the city of Lagos, Southwest Nigeria. My name is Jubril Abiola Falami. Welcome to your pre-dawn telecast, Barakah Sahur on News Central. It's time for us to meet, yes, the Mashallah sisters. The segment is called Tea Sahur, and you know our regular sisters, Aja Balkis and Aja Mariam and Aja Mariam. I call them Miriam Square, mashallah. And today they're looking at parenting part 1. Yesterday it was polygamy and we had so many comments. Yes, polygamy. But today it's about parenting. So I'll be right back. Enjoy it. The sisters, over to you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. On today's episode, we'll be talking about parenting. Parenting as you've never heard it before from Muslim women. We'll be talking about the things that bother us the most when we talk about our kids. For me, one thing that gives me the most concern in most cases is I live as a Niqabi by choice. I need to make that really clear. Niqabi by choice. Because there's this idea in the typical Yoruba society or Nigerian society that when you wear the niqab, it's been put on you by your husband. Mine is by choice. Let's make that clear first. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. And then there's this constant battle about what my girls will wear as they grow. So I have a 10-year-old who sometimes wants to go out and then comes to ask me, Mommy, can I wear my pink veil? Mommy, can I wear that pink hijab? And even as much as I would love to say, yes, sure, go ahead. I also have to check with her father. Can she go ahead? It is how it is.
Why is that so?
He's her father. I didn't have her on my own, so both sides have to agree on what she would wear out. She's just 10. She really can make her decision on her own.
Yes.
As much as we encourage her to go ahead and make her decisions. So I have to go. Can you check with your daddy? Let's hear what he has to say.
Yes. So
exactly.
you both can be on the same page.
Exactly. So it doesn't end up being I'll ask mommy for what I want.
Exactly.
When I know she's going to respond in the affirmative to what I'm asking, and then I'll ask daddy for what I want. When I know he will respond in the affirmative to what, then she'll play that game with both of you. So now,
and trust me, kids know how to play that game well.
They are damn good players.
Very well.
And so when it comes to the niqab or the hijab, for me, it's this question of how will your girls dress when they're teenagers? I must confess, I sincerely want my daughter to be able to wear a niqab, but I am not going to force her to.
But
I want it to be by choice, like it was for me. I want her to be able to say,
that's important.
I want her to be able to say, this is what I want. I have explored the veil, I have explored the hijab, I have explored the niqab, so I'm settling with this or that.
Well, I agree with you. I appreciate your take on that. Sometimes as a parent, I think my major concern is usually my children not making the same mistakes I did.
When it comes to dressing,
choices, everything, and they having, almost the same opportunity or even more than I did as a kid. While growing up with my father, we were. It was all about knowledge, seeking knowledge. You just have to learn something every day. Your salah, my father was big on that. Especially the Arabic and Islamic knowledge. And I wasn't married to a scholar like my father. They do say something.
Did you throw tantrums?
So no, not at all. So people say something like, for a girl child, she looks up to, as in girls usually when it's time to get married, they look for the like of the father in whoever they're about to choose? I don't think so. For me, it wasn't so for me. I don't know.
Didn't
I don't know
happen to
for
me.
I don't. For you, did it happen?
No.
Are you sure? But I do hear that a lot. That subconsciously, some way, somehow, if your father is loving and caring and this and that, you're looking at, you want that same attribute, as in those same attributes
Someone
from
you
exactly.
want to spend the rest of
And
your
a
life.
lot of the time, actually, we subconsciously look for, our father in
our
our partners. Yes. So it's not necessary that it has to be conscious. Like you don't consciously choose to. Some consciously do, especially when they see the way the father treats the mother or they, and then they want something like that for themselves. They want something like that for their own offsprings. So I want them to have the same opportunity. I don't want them to make the same mistakes. And in the process of doing that, I want to go to where you started from, because I still want them to make the choices. I want them to make the mistakes and know that, yes, because I've got burnt this way, so I wouldn't dare go back there. But I'm still scared. I still don't want them to. If there were means to actually make them eat their cake and have it, I would gladly.
Exactly.
So that's
You
a
want them
great
to learn,
concern
but
for me.
You don't want them to make the mistakes.
Exactly.
So what were the mistakes, or what are the opportunities you're thinking they should have now? What are the opportunities for today's Muslim child
Yeah.
that did not exist or that we were not open to 10, 15 years ago?
Oh, how about we look at it? Let's spin it this other way. We're going to put that down, and let's also spin it this other way. What were the things, like the benefits or the values we got from then that are not exactly available, like readily available, that are seen as taboos these days? You understand? Values, morals. We know that in this age, our morals are they're fast running into decline. We don't value or appreciate, these
Things
kids
we
now.
held dear
Exactly.
in the
Things we
past.
place in high, regard, like respect to elders. Now our kids are free to talk back at us. We just see that, they're just kids in a way.
Yes.
I know the kind of, I know when I was growing up and my mother, no, not all the time. Sometimes we just want to cut them some slacks. We don't want to be too harsh on them. We don't want to discipline them too much, just so they could, they'll feel loved and accepted, and then they'll be able to come to us. So when they have any challenge or something, they're free enough to actually, to discuss with their mother. We want to be their friend. So, and of course we don't want to be too strict. I know how I grew up. And alhamdulillah, I'm happy for that, because that is what has made me into this woman. Now, how do I become really lenient with my child and still instill the same values and discipline in them? These are great fears for us these days, especially in this age.
That's a hustle.
I have a 3-year-old that sometimes I think she has evolved like older than her age.
Yes.
So
That's what we do now.
when she does things, I'm like, is this girl really? She's 3, but she's going on 10.
Can you imagine?
Like she does things like
A 10-year-old.
Yes, and the questions she asks you at times are you even know. I'm like,
What do you tell her when she asks something? Are you
who
just
ask your dad? I said that I need to ask her dad. If
yeah?
I'm unable to give an appropriate answer that I feel maybe it's going to sometimes
Skew her thinking in one
Yeah.
direction.
Yes, because I've made that mistake once, and my sister was like, "You didn't give her the right answer. What if she's all grown?"
And that is what she hold on
That's what she
to.
holds on to.
That's what she hold on to.
Exactly.
And once they
I'm-
start
if-
clocking
if I'm
8,
not-
9, 10, they want to make the choices and they want to be firm on it.
Exactly. So if I'm not sure what to say, I'll just refer her to her dad. Go ask him, and then he's
Good for
telling
you.
her,
How?
and then from his response, I'm getting an idea what to tell her, and then we get to tell her more. Yes.
Okay, how about we look at it from this angle? It's good that you would send it to a father. It's good that you would say, "Oh, mommy, can I wear this pink veil?" And you say, "Go meet your daddy." How about single mothers? How about widows? How about those that are divorced? How do they deal with these things? I'm a widow, for instance, and I know what it took me to actually really take my mind off. Oh, go meet your daddy when they're disturbing. Go meet your daddy when they, when they want something. Go meet your daddy. That was a big. Yeah, I think that was a big challenge. Because there is no one to say, you know what, let me just stay with them for a while. You just go rest. Just catch a couple of hours sleep.
Mom and you're the dad.
So how do women like that? How do they feel? Has it ever occurred to us? So we have to also
to a
consider.
very large extent, right?
We have to know where I'm going to. I'm sorry, Mama. Where I'm going to is the bulk of the job still lies with us.
Yes.
That's the reality.
The mother.
True. You see that go to your daddy moment? It gives you time
Yes.
to think of the next best
Yes.
answer for you.
You said that.
It's a lot in my case.
So from his answers, I get
So when I
an idea.
go to your father,
Yes.
before she
her.
returns, I know the next best thing I'm going to tell her.
And
Otherwise,
even if it
I'm
is
going to
not-
have the end. I'm going to hear the last of it. I know that.
And if it is not the same question, it could be another question, but you know how to approach it because you've seen the way the father, and they tend to, especially girl childs, they tend to listen and pay rapt attention to what the father says. It hits differently with them than what the mother says.
Like I actually don't know where she get that from.
Because daddy's daddy.
When we are talking and it's almost as if we are arguing, she's like,
3-year-old just say,
Calm down. Mommy be calming
she's
down.
touching me and
wow.
Asking you to
yeah,
relax.
I'm
Alhamdulillah.
like, okay. We are not fighting. We are not arguing. I'm sorry. No. And then she's like, okay, let's go.
You know what that means?
They're
One way
watching,
or
they're
another.
studying.
They're studying, they're watching, and
observing
one way or
things.
another, they are helping us to become
Exactly.
Better
even
human beings.
yes.
You know, there's this
You're
there
more
are
conscious with
days
them.
when they push you to that point where you want to hit,
Yes.
where you want to do, where you want to show them you're upset. And there's no way you're showing them you're upset will not go into an overdrive.
Yeah.
And it will only go into an overdrive because they're young. They're like,
The
they're way
waves
younger than
they
you.
come.
They can beat back when you hit.
Yeah.
And they know that no matter how correct I am, my parent is my parent.
Yeah.
I can't hit back. It is the society we grew up in. It's not the US or the UK where children can actually speak up. And that brings me to a point where
Auntie
Speaking-
speaks up.
having to hold your peace because an adult is speaking it doesn't help. That's what I was going to say. It makes you turn into that adult who's unable to
Speak up.
speak up, express yourself when the need arises. And then you begin to bottle in emotions, bottle in things, and it's not a good
And
place.
true.
So
And
what
true.
we try?
My 3-year-old is very expressive. Whatever, no matter what you do to her and she doesn't like it, she tells
She'll
you.
tell you.
But she will tell you.
But I think that's a good thing, but then we still have to draw the line. Remember, we're trying to raise children that are conscious of other people's emotions.
and feelings. So you don't want to raise a
Children
child
that
who's
are
who's a
empathic.
constant complainer.
Exactly. We want to raise children that are expressive at the same time.
Tolerant.
Exactly. And they know when to actually just watch, sit and observe.
Where to draw
They
the
know
line.
exactly. So we should allow them to a certain extent. And all of this, like we all know, they're watching. It also boils down to how we're relating with them, how we're relating with other people. I started observing, I noticed a trait in my little girl. When she's trying to correct the brother, a voice, she raises a voice. And I would say, Mama, stop that. You have to tell, because it's a boy, you know how it is like with boys. They're a lot more, exactly. So you have to be calm and patient with him. Then I told myself one day that, you have to also watch the way you correct them, the way you scold them. Because ultimately, these are the things she is saying to, help her to know how to correct the brother. So we have to be conscious of all of these things. Let them know you have to be respectful to your siblings. You have to respect other persons. But when they do something wrong, remember to say you're sorry. Say excuse when you want to take something that belongs to theirs. So as much as we're trying to make them to be expressive, we should also try to let them know that there are lines, there are boundaries.
Let me draw this
Set
conversation
boundaries. We should be
back.
moderate in all of this.
Let me draw this conversation back to the hijab, which is important in our
Very,
society.
very, very
Lest
important.
the people, we know our people, lest they go, oh, because they are educated. That is why the matter of the hijab is not important to them. Wallahi, it is important. To me, it is a big deal for me. So if your daughter grows up tomorrow and goes, I would rather wear just the cap and not even the veil. So if your daughter, for instance, at the age of, say, 15 to 8, between the ages of 15 and 18, walked up to you and said, Mom, I don't think I want to wear the hijab, I'd rather wear the cap. How would you handle that? And maybe it's because, okay, I don't want to put assumptions here. I just want to hear your thoughts, Mariam.
Maybe it's because you're giving her an
Free
express,
rein.
yes, to do what she wants to do.
Whatever she wants.
Which we are encouraged to
Or
do.
maybe,
Yes.
Our girls are golden, remember.
or maybe,
Or maybe louder. Or maybe you have allowed her so much to have her way.
Too
Or
often.
maybe, yes, too often. Or maybe
or
what?
maybe. Or perhaps she has this aunt that she really likes, or your friend that
I
she
would
really
rather
admires. And exactly. So I think, do I have to wait until then to help her? You know, all of these things is about perception. It's about
Conversations you're
orientation.
having as they're growing. Conversations.
Exactly.
The conversations. Are you letting them understand the fact that if we're stepping out, even if it's to go eat ice cream, we must have our hair
Covered.
Covered.
And not just
Like-
covered,
like
you know.
I've known-
My
I've known
daughter,
appropriately, yeah?
Alhamdulillah, I
You
think
know?
I think I there are points. Okay, at this point, when I begin to reflect upon this question, I just say I'm grateful to Allah for the ability to make my daughter conscious at this tender age. She would, despite that I'm not a full niqabi, I use only the kamar maybe to pray or to run quick errands or something, but she knows that she cannot wear maybe just she cannot be without scarf to step outside. I would even say, no, it's just out there. It's just out there at the balcony. Just pick something for me. Oh no, mommy. But then she still wants to, she still puts on maybe tie to something, but I let her know that no, you cannot wear this only, so it has to be a big hijab. So all of these things are things you have to keep and recall before the father's
We hope that you have enjoyed our packages, inshallah. Tomorrow we'll be back with yet another interesting edition of Barakah Sahur. Please do not forget that you have the opportunity of joining us on all our social media handles, sending your comments, questions, and contributions. We'll appreciate them. And also, your 60 seconds of Ramadan. We're still looking for the best videos at the end of Ramadan. So keep a date with us tomorrow, 4 a.m. I am Jubil Falami. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.